All right, so welcome to Doushin Talk. My name is Gadu. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Doushin Talk is a part of a Heart of Giving Day. It's really a practice to open our Kokoro, our heart and mind. So, help us to, kind of go on our journey of healing. So, today's the topic is the being your own guiding light. You know, so in our life, most of us were pretty much raised, you know, by our parents and society to not to believe in ourselves. Unfortunately, that sometimes happens, right? And somehow we learn to doubt ourselves, you know. And also we are oftentimes conditioned to believe certain things, you know. Like some of things are cultural, because I grew up in a different country, so I have ideas about like what this country believe and what that country believe, and it's not universal necessary. But then sometimes if we're not opening ourselves and only seeing the things that are around us and then just judging everything from that point of view, you know, sometimes it's weird. Get trapped in that, you know. And our world is full of information now, you know, and we are not really, you know, sometimes we get caught up in ideas and different informations, you know, and sometimes we don't know what to believe, and what's good for us. Because sometimes, like even simple things, like sometimes you hear, oh, milk is good. And then someone else said, like, no, milk is bad. Someone said, at some point somebody said, like, oh, drinking alcohol is good, some amount. And so now it say, like, no, absolutely no alcohol. Sometimes people say, like, oh, this kind of a meat is good, but this kind of meat is bad. We hear this kind of a things all the time, right? And sometimes we are not careful. We get caught up in this, and we are always going like this way or that way, depending on what's saying what, who's saying what. And we never know like what's right or what's right for you, you know. So in our practice, in our resonance healing practice, its main thing is to train ourselves to follow what we feel right for us, because we tend to make this kind of a simplified statement about this is right for everyone, or this is good for everyone, but that's not true. Each of us is made kind of a generally made of the same spec, right? Like we have both, two eyes and two arms and two legs for most part. But then our inside is very different. What our body needs is actually pretty different. But then, we're not taught to believe that. We are taught to believe like this broad statement about our body is what's correct. And this keeps changing, right? So that's why we get confused. So how we can sharpen our internal sense of like what is right for me, and not get caught up in, what other people say that's right for you. And that's what it is, this talk is about. Because, the conditioning is a tricky thing. And it can go deep into even to a subconscious, So we make certain judgment about yourself and others, based on what you learned, you know. And sometimes depending on how your parents are, how your community was, you know, those things can affect how we see ourselves and how we see others. And the part of the reason is our conscious mind, you know, which is connected to our physical body, is, you know, it's there to, you know, make certain judgment because for survival, you know, basically, you know, in order to survive in the wild, you know, ancient times, nowadays, you know, you're not really in the wild anymore, but we had to make certain judgment, you know, and sometimes make judgment quick, you know. So then our conscious mind is developed to make certain judgment. But ancient time, we also didn't believe in, you know, just ourselves, you know, because we always had to be in the nature. That means we already knew the things that we cannot control is always there, you know, and that kept us kind of open in a sense. You know, that's why we had like in our ancient time, we had more of a nature worship. You know, we kind of believed like there's a much bigger force, you know, outside of us. But as we get civilized, you know, our ego part, our conscious mind got so developed, and this other part got sort of like, you know, because now, you know, considered certain like, you know, science tend to believe some of the spiritual belief to be, you know, hoax, right? Basically, you know, because it's not scientifically provable, you know. But then intuitively we know that's not it, you know. But then because we are trained or conditioned to believe this is it, even though we feel like, oh, this is not it, but we almost like kind of feel like, oh, I have to stick with this. So in our practice, you know, this kind of a spiritual practice is about opening other part, you know, going back to the nature, you know, when we are open. And that doesn't mean we're going to deny this conscious mind part, you know, but we just consider it as it's just a part of it. It's not the whole, you know. And that actually is harder to do than you think, because our ego consciousness or our conscious mind tend to hold on to things much tighter. You know, that's why we call it attachment. Because conscious mind have a lot of fear about its self is not there. So that's why our conscious mind tend to hold on to very concrete ideas. You know, so dualistic idea, right, wrong, this or that, you know. And so people who are very much connected to a conscious mind and not opening to things other than that tend to get very more judgmental, you know, because they need that judgment in order to feel secure about themselves, you know. So people talk about reality. And even the science knows, you know, what we call reality is not as concrete as we thought. If you study a little bit about quantum mechanics, you know, like things are much more fuzzy than we think, you know. But then our conscious mind don't like that, don't like being fuzzy. It wants to be just black or white. And that also means like if you're going to black, then you have to deny or reject the white, you know. So you have to go either this or that in order to keep this kind of a sense of security in it. So we need to be aware of what our conscious mind does, you know. Some of like a tricks, the conscious mind, or ego tricks, I call it. And by knowing, oh, that's just my ego trick, you know, my mind is just doing that, then you can step back and say like, oh, okay, so this is my ego thing, but how do I really feel? about it. And get in touch with this feeling is most important. Even in a spiritual practice, you often hear things that are like, because our conscious mind is connected to our physical body. So we tend to project things, everything as a physical model. So if you look at religion, different kind of a religion or spirituality too, sometimes they like create the like entire structure that's based on like a physical world. It's like, oh, the kingdom of heaven, or different level of enlightenment. Whatever that means, if they go, why would you assume the spiritual part have the same rule as the physical world? But then our conscious mind likes to project that. So all these ancient masters have gave us the tools to free ourselves. But those came after, put those tools in a box and start worshiping. And then people start saying, this is the only tool you need. And that's BS, right? If you go to, say, for example, if you want to build a house, you can't just go in one aisle of Home Depot and find everything. You have to go to every aisle, get all the tools you need. But then people start saying like, oh, all I need is a hammer. I can build everything with a hammer. And you say like, you're crazy. You need a saw, you need a nail. And also, if you know how to use a hammer, and if you have a hammer, you don't need 2 or 3 hammers. You only need one for pretty much. But then people start saying like, oh no, you need this hammer, and you need that hammer. But all you need is a hammer. But we actually fall into that in our, even our spiritual practice too. So we have to keep ourselves open, and in some level, always, question. Not deny, not reject, but question. Is this right for me? So in the practice that we do called Journey Together, Soul Resonance Meditation, I talk about path. What is your path? And the path is, in a Taoist language, it's written as the Tao. That also means path or way. But path, I believe, is like our tendency, our soul tendency, I would say. Because we all have a certain tendencies. We get attracted to certain things and not get attracted to certain things. And some of them are learned behaviors, something that learned habit. But some of them are something very innate, something that we're born with, And your path is like when you feel sense of fulfillment, when you're doing this, when you're seeing that, when you're hearing this sound, or when you're, in certain situation, you feel this sense of deep connection and fulfillment. That is something to do with my soul tendency. That's my path. And when you can align with that all the time, this will guide you. But oftentimes our ego says, like, when you say, for example, like, oh, I feel most fulfilled, when I'm making something, say making something with clay, or just kneading something, or maybe making bread or whatever. But the ego part said, no, 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 no. You're not going to make money with that. What are you going to be? Like, you're going to be a baker? Open a bakery shop? No, you should go to business school. Learn how to deal with the, stock market. And then we sometimes don't listen. and then go to the other way. I mean, this is, of course, it's a kind of extreme example, but we kind of go do that all the time, right? Sometimes not because of our own judgment, but then sometimes, family said, you know, society said, community said. And we start ignoring this sense of connection to our own path. Then if that become habit, then you're always confused. You always listen to somebody else's ideas and then go in this way or that way. And you forget like where you actually felt this sense of fulfillment. So in our practice, we need to let go of all these crap, in a way, that we acquired through our life. And then we really connect deep into our soul. And this feeling of this connection, will guide you. And at some point, you may be able to put the keyword into this sense of path, to be able to say it, or to be able to see it. Then it gets easier because once you put the word in it, then you can actually engage your conscious mind to actually consciously engage to your path. So in the beginning, it might be just kind of a vague feeling, of this connection become much more solid. So you are not denying your conscious mind, but you can actually use your conscious mind as a part of a tool. Because if to build a house, you also need a conscious mind. You can't be just like always like blindingly, wandering around the aisles and find something. Sometimes you need to engage your conscious mind. So like, oh, this probably is good. Oh, this one have a better review in Amazon. So okay, I'm gonna buy this. Sometimes we need that judgment too. So today's practice, this is kind of a practice that we usually do, is about letting go, shedding all these unnecessary things, letting go of attachment. So you feel this deep connection. And then from this deep connection, you open yourself. And this feeling will guide you. And trust that feeling. Sometimes it takes time, but when you actually feel the connection, it really will guide you. Then you don't need to wonder, go to a grocery store, should I buy Cheetos or should I buy lettuce? Sometimes it's lettuce, or most of the time, hopefully. But once in a while, you might need Cheetos. But if you say, all I need is lettuce, then you miss that. Sometimes the Cheetos will give you something. You never know. That's why you have to keep yourself open. And so this is a constant practice. Constantly keep yourself open in about what you eat, where you go, how you do things, who you meet, what kind of a choice you make in your life. You can always ask, is this aligned with my path or not? Sometimes you may get sense of who cares? And that happens, right? But then if you start training yourself like this in a small place, like should I eat apple or orange? Which is aligned with my path. And then really feel this subtle sensation about, okay, this, okay, that. When you need to make a big decisions, that sense will help you and guide you. All right, so let's find a comfortable position. And close your eyes, put a gentle smile on your face, and relax your whole body. Be aware of your lifeline running from top of your head down to the bottom of your torso. Feel you are grounded and centered. Notice how your weight is distributed evenly, so there is no extra tension in your body. Tuck your chin slightly in, tip of your tongue gently touching the roof of your mouth, and you are breathing in and out through your nose. Keep your palms up if you can. Open your fingers a little and push your elbows a little and feel soothed. You are creating space inside for your ki to flow freely and most efficiently. If your feet are touching the floor, gently grab the floor with your toes or think about you're doing that. And think about raising your thighs and knees. Think about raising your hands and your arms. And you are in Gen. You are both physical and spiritual being. And your awareness is somewhere in between. Feel you are here but not here. And you are slightly detached as if you're outside of your body observing yourself. And in this fuzzy and distant feeling, bring your focus to your lower tanden. See the soft, hazy light shining there. And say in your mind your heart opening password. And feel your connection to everything there is beyond time and space, beyond any limitation. And you surrender yourself to this feeling. And with deep respect and gratitude, ask your guide to come and help you. And invite your guide to come march together with you. And feel your guide appears in front of you And you and your guide are merging together as one. And feel you are your guide. As your guide, notice how you feel. Notice how you're holding your body. How you're holding your mind. And how you're holding your spirit. And your kokoro is open. And you set your E clearly. Say in your mind your intention or state your path. If you don't know your path, then you put that as an intention. When you set your E, you set it as if it's already accomplished. So you start with, my guide, thank you so much for this and that. And you end with, I love you, I appreciate you, and I thank you 3 times. And feel your E is resonating with everything there is, activating ki everywhere. And you are guided and supported in each step you take on your path. Now you start energy breathing. As you breathe in, feel the energy coming into your body from every part of your skin, collecting and condensing in your lower tanden. As you breathe out any energy that doesn't serve you anymore, transform into something beautiful, shooting out from every aspect of you, going back to wherever it belongs. With each breath, feel you are getting purified and refined, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Feel energy breathing penetrate into your physical body. into your skin, into your tissues, into your muscles, joint, and connective tissues, into your organs, fluid, and nerves, into your bones and bone marrow, and with each breath, your physical body is getting purified and refined. And you're observing your body as if you're outside of it. Notice each part of your body is made of cells, and each cell is made of molecules, each molecule made of atoms, each atom made of particles, and each particle is just a form of energy, form of vibration or information. So your body is actually like mist. It's fuzzy and transparent. As you observe like that, you let go of your attachment to your physical body. And feel energy breathing penetrate into your mind, into both conscious mind and subconscious mind. Your conscious mind connected to your physical body, and your subconscious mind is connected more to your spirit or spiritual part of you. Feel energy breathing penetrate into your memories, into your stories, into your ideas, thought, and beliefs, into your emotions, into your ego and sense of identity. It's also penetrate into your hidden memories, hidden emotions. With each breath, feel your mind is getting purified and refined. And you are observing your mind as if you're outside of it. And feel your mind is there but not there. No one knows where your mind is. As you observe like that, you let go of your attachment to your mind. And feel energy breathing penetrate into your spirit. All the information about who you are and what you are. Some of the information you may know, some of the information you may not know, and some of it you may have no way of knowing. But you can still feel with each breath your spirit is getting purified and refined. And you're observing your spirit as if you're outside of it. And feel it's there but not there. And you let go of your attachment to your spirit. As you let go of all the attachment, your Kokoro is open. You can look deep into yourself and feel your connection to your soul. Notice how that feels to you. You may ask your soul, "What is my path?" You may ask your soul, "Show me the feeling of fulfillment." Or simply feel this deep connection. From your soul, feel your connection to everything there is. There are infinite possibilities. Notice how your soul, or your connection to your soul, is the guiding light. Keep you going forward on your journey. And you surrender yourself to this feeling of deep resonance. Now this meditation is yours. this meditation is slowly coming to the end. Gently bring your focus to your heart and see the beautiful soft light shining in your heart. And your Kokoro is open. And you're resonating with everything there is. Notice how good you feel physically, mentally, and spiritually. And in this light, say thank you to your guide for all the guidance, unconditional love, and blessings. And with deep gratitude, ask your guide to come back and help you again, anytime you need it. And see your guide coming out of you, and with smile, going back to wherever your guide came from. Now gently bring this light down to your lower tanden. See the soft, hazy light shining there. And it's spinning as an energy ball. It's spinning faster and faster, getting smaller and smaller. See, the light is getting condensed into a tan. And you tuck it deep in your lower tendon. And with joy, take 3 gentle deep breaths. And slowly open your eyes. And rub your hands together. Activate your hands and fingers. And massage your face. Cup top of your head. Cup base of your head. And massage your C7. And massage your temples. Massage your ears. All right. How you feel? So this kind of a practice you need to do consistently and constantly. Because all these years, right, we are believed to follow our own ego. And that's habit. You know, only way to break habit is to create a new habit. And you have to make that into a habit. You know, so anytime because you don't need to take half an hour to do this. All you need to do is just close your eyes and just feel your connection to your Kokoro, and feel your Kokoro open and just, okay, what should I do? Just guide me. And as you continue to practice like that, it's become habit, and you start doing this naturally, So, as I always say, start with something easy, Don't make a decision life or death right away. Start with something like, okay, what should I make, for tonight? Like, should I make pasta or rice? When you're on a plane, chicken or beef, stuff like that. Very easy stuff like that. But then it's a practice, and it's a practice of following too. When you feel the sense, you always follow, and that, even then, even sometimes I forget to connect and just follow my own habit and follow my ego, and that happens too, and that's not a bad thing. That's just keep reminding yourself. That's just how often you do it. You still have to keep reminding yourself, but you start feeling this sense of, when I do it like this, and when I let go of the anxiety of it, I tend to be in the right place at the right time, meeting right people, getting just right tool that I needed, and you start feeling this sense of, I feel guided. So then I don't need to worry about all these noise and all this information, out there. All you have to listen is my own heart, my own soul. And whatever it is that comes to you in the process, you take it as a tool. Learn to use it, and when you don't need it, let go. No attachment, So you accept everything as is, and you don't need to judge anything, reject anything, or deny anything. Because everything is there but not there, so who cares? It's all there for your amusement. Just there to guide you and help you. And then you can live your life much lighter and with sense of peace and calm. And also with sense of, less doubt. Question, but not doubt. Sometimes it's okay to doubt, but then you learn to question yourself. Okay, question someone saying this. Is this right for me? This might be this person saying like, oh, this is like this. Okay, this may be right for this person, but not for me. Then okay, then that's just not for me. You don't need to try to be like someone else. It's really healing is about finding who you are and what you are, finding you, and just stay being you. And that's what healing is. So continue. That's why I'm here. Keep reminding you. All right. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. Have a wonderful day. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. And I thank you. Okay, until next time. Goodbye for now.